Okay, we're going to have a look at the Yarra Valley meeting from the 17th of the 12th, 2021, from the viewpoint of the Dutch book course. Okay, so we're going to use this to build some information so we can then look at some results and how to stake them and so on using a Dutch book approach. So going through these meetings very quickly, or this meeting at least very quickly, race 1, go to the worksheet, look at the prices. Tranquil Bay is on top, followed by Jocelyn. The button you want to be clicking on is this one here. Okay, now there's two sorts of markets you can have with the ratings calculator, or the pure form market as I call it. So the ratings calculator has its own market based on figures using ratings and other information to produce the market. So as you can see, 12's on top, Tranquil Bay, and the odds according to the pure form market is $3.30, and Jocelyn is also $3.30. So it's really which one's on top. Well, who's on first. So if you were going to back one, you'd have to back the other because they're at the same price. Now, the other thing too is one of the features of betting on horse racing is trying to take overs, which is to say you're trying to find a better price than the available odds, or the odds that you would require for the bet. So neither one of these two horses are overs. The next two, White Space at $13 showing $31 on the TAB, is an over, and Rivaldo $38 is also an over. Okay, now just because they're an over doesn't mean they're going to win. However, when and if they do win, that does give you a much better result. There's also the TAB market. So for example, Jocelyn $2.40. If you're betting to collect $100, you would have $41.70. Now obviously you can round up or down when there's an odd amount. You would make this $42. And you'd have, well, there's a slight variance in the price here, so you'd have $40 on Tranquil Bay. So first favourite home for the TAB punters, and none of the overs were successful. Alright, however, the top pick was in, at least the winner was in the top two picks. Moving on to race 2, if we look at the pure form market, end up having Ain't She Serious on top, which ends up winning. $2.40 was the market price, and it showed or paid $4.40 on the TAB. So in other words, this is an example of an over. We have a look at the market. We're betting to collect 100. We would then put $41 or $42, rounding it up, on Ain't She Serious, and that's based on this odds here. This is overs punting. If we look at just the TAB price, if we're just simply going to say we're going to bet according to the TAB price, Fuller was the favourite at $2.20. Didn't really fancy that much, so we wouldn't have been taking that. Ain't She Serious, if you simply wanted to take it at the TAB price, you would have had $22.70 or $23 on it. Alright, we're building some information to be used in the notes in the course here, rather than going over every little detail. Race 3, looking at the market again, and the results. Mr. Sizzle was on top, $5.90, showing $4. So in other words, there's not an over on this market. You would have had $17 on it based on this price. If you were going to do the overs, Louise Francis and Night Terror is getting a fair way down. If you're going to do overs betting, which is not really the focus of this course, you need to take all the horses all the way down that are overs. The ones that are showing in yellow are the overs, which is to say the TAB price is better than the ratings calculator, the pure form market. So again, we're just building some information here. The TAB market, Whiz Tiz is on top at $2.40. Yeah, if you wanted to bet that one, you'd have $42 on it. Moving on, race 4, looking at the market, Unforgiven's on top, $3.50 on the market, only showing $1.95, so in other words it's an under. Looking at the figures, the ratings calculator market, if you were going to bet to collect $100, you would have had $29 on it, but it was only at $2, so you wouldn't have collected 100. The overs were Toramore, price $6.30, you would have had $16 on it, and Razor Warrior $10.60, you would have had $9.40, so you can make that 9 or you can make it 10 depending on how you're feeling. And the price was $16 on the TAB. These are fixed price TAB odds. Race 5, Cyclone Tim's won the race. So having a look at this, Perfect Scent was on top as the over. No luck there. All Too Terrifics run third. It was an under. Cyclone Tim's the third pick. End up winning. You would have had $13 on. At $6 you wouldn't have quite collected 100. The TAB odds, Alexander Hamilton was on top. He was the fourth pick. And so on. Again, here's the basic information. You would have outlaid $120 if you bet on all the horses according to their price. And yeah, there's a couple of real roughies there. Race 6. This is the kind of race you would be looking for if you were looking to be betting overs. Chestnut Thunder was priced at $5 and paid $13 on the TAB. So you would have had $20 on it. $20 is the price for $5 Dutch betting, but it would have paid $13. So you would have collected $260 as a result, only betting to collect 100. So you may be able to see that overs punting can have advantages. The other overs in the race were Stony Vista and the Midnight Shift, and well, they didn't do any good, but that doesn't matter. TAB wise, TikTok was the favourite. You would have had $37 if you're betting using the TAB odds of $2.70. TikTok was a fair way down to the market, which doesn't mean it can't win. Race 7. Looking at the market, we had Dominant Way followed by Dana Point. So here's the market, the pure form market, $2.80 showing $51. That would have been a great result. You don't necessarily have to be taking these horses just simply because they're in the market, and of course you can alter the odds or alter the amount you're going to bet. As it is, Dominant Way ran fourth, and that probably is what added some value, for want of another term, into the first four. Dana Point won the race as the second pick, showing $10 on the market. You can adjust these markets, so you might decide to put Dominant Way at a much longer price. But just looking at the basic figures, there they are. If we have a look at the TAB odds, $2.90 you would have $34.50 for betting just using TAB odds. Moving on to race 8, if we can click on that. There's no result on this one, but the result ended up being Scorpius ended up winning, so 3861 for this. Basically, Scorpius is the fourth pick, so you would have missed it no matter how you would end up doing it. Here's the TAB prices. If you're going to back Drone Strike, you would have had $36 on it, and well, you would have run third, but that's of no great use to you in this case. So anyway, there's the figures for this meeting. There was some nice results there, and so that's what we've been highlighting here. There's a little point highlighting a meeting where every race you have a loser, but don't worry, there are plenty of races using the ratings calculator where the winner is nowhere near in the top few selections, and that is the case with racing generally. So you have to pick the right races to bet on. And in this case, we're just going to use these races as an example for how to use Dutch betting, which is what this course is about. So that's about it for this video. There'll be more information in the notes in the course.